This week, I'm going to go take readings from the, excuse me, from the chapter Roses and Garbage. I was thinking I might do 2 chapters, but one is always just so much to absorb. And every time I reread it, it's just goes deeper. So this one starts with a verse from the Heart Sutra that says, "Listen, Sariputra, all phenomena bear the mark of emptiness. Their true nature is the nature of no defilement and no purity." And he says, defilement or immaculate, dirty or pure, are concepts we form in our mind. We see a beautiful rose in a vase and we think it's immaculate. Its fragrance supports our idea of purity. The opposite is a garbage can. Its rotten smell supports our idea of defilement. But if we look deeply at the concepts of defiled and pure, we have a chance to touch the insight of interbeing. The faded rose feeds the compost, and the compost feeds the rose bush. Then Thich Nhat Hanh takes this example of the rose and the compost deeper by challenging us to see the interbeing of good and evil. He says we are imprisoned by our ideas of good and evil. We want only good, and we want to remove all evil. That is because we forget that good is made of non-good elements. And he gives an example. He says, let us say that we do not want the right side of a branch, that we only want the left side. So we break off half of this wonderful reality and throw it away. But as soon as we've done this, the end that remains becomes the new right. Because as soon as there is a left, there must be a right. If we become frustrated and we do it again, breaking what remains of the branch, we still have a right and a left. The same applies to good and evil. You cannot have only good. You cannot hope to remove evil completely, because thanks to evil, good exists, and vice versa. If we take sides, we are trying to eliminate half of reality, which is impossible. And he goes into telling the Buddhist teaching story of Mara coming to visit the Buddha. And to the Buddha's disciples' dismay, the Buddha is very happy to see Mara and welcomes him as an old friend. Mara, the one who has tried to prevent the Buddha's enlightenment, shares his current grievances about how difficult it has become to be Mara. He is tired of being tricky and looking evil. And besides, some of his disciples are talking about social justice and peace and equality and nonviolence, when before they would just listen to what Mara had to say. And in his desire to be something other than Mara, he suggests that maybe he and Buddha should change roles. Now, the Buddha has listened carefully and is filled with compassion for Mara's struggles. And then he asks, do you think it's fun being the Buddha? My disciples put words in my mouth I never said. They build garish temples and put statues of me on altars in order to attract bananas and oranges and sweet rice for themselves. They package me and make my teachings into items of commerce. So this story is an example of how the good always infiltrates the evil and how evil creeps into the good. And there is this continual exchange, which we are all working with all the time. And I have to confess that I've certainly wanted only good to exist. And I've struggled to understand, the motives of evil. Like I just can't understand them. And there's a persistent aspect of myself which identifies with being innocent or with being pure, or assumes my point of view is the right point of view. And I can easily feel frustrated and threatened by the presence of all the things that I consider evil. But Thich Nhat Hanh goes on and he says, in the light of non-duality, there is no problem. It's only as soon as the idea of good is there, the idea of evil is also there. Buddha needs Mara in order to reveal himself, and vice versa. Buddha is empty of separate self, being made of non-Buddhist elements. And I'm thinking that what he's saying is that the Buddha was able to welcome Mara as part of himself. That's how I came to see what he was saying. And Thich Nhat Hanh goes on to say, we are not separate, we are inextricably interrelated. The rose is the garbage, the soldier is the civilian, the criminal is also the victim, the rich man is also the very poor woman. No one among us has clean hands. None of us can claim that the situation is not our responsibility. The child who is forced to work as a prostitute is that way because of the way we are. The refugees who are forced to live in camps have to live like that because of the way we live. The arms dealers do their businesses so that our economics can continue to grow. Wealth and poverty are. The wealth of one society is made of the poverty of the other. Wealth is made of non-wealth elements, and poverty is made of non-poverty elements. If we look into ourselves with the eyes of interbeing, we see the young prostitute, the child soldier, the starving mother, the immigrant worker, and we bear their pain. It is from this insight of interbeing that true compassion will be born in our hearts, and we will know what to do and not to do to help the situation. And I wanted to share, since I was a child going to church, I've heard about compassion, but there are some significant moments in my life in which I actually felt like I experienced compassion in the way that Thich Nhat Hanh is expressing it. And I wanted to share one of those. I always had an aversion for drunks, and especially if I saw drunks on the street. And I think their life being out of control really scared me. And that was part of my aversion, was just the thought of being out of control like that, or that vulnerable, was terrifying. And so it was hard for me to feel compassion. And one day I came up to a four-way stop sign and there was nobody else there except there was a drunk leaning against the wall right across the intersection from me. And so I just stopped there and something happened. I entered into him and I felt what it felt like to be inebriated. And I could find the place in myself that was seeking equilibrium in that state. And I went through the whole process of using my energy to be able to stand up while I was drunk. And all of a sudden, my heart was just flooded with compassion. It was like there was no difference between him and I could feel the state that he was in. And that was like, oh my God, I just experienced compassion, It's like this complete interrelated. It was beautiful. And a lot of my fear just disappeared around that. So I think that Thich Nhat Hanh is inviting us to a profound acceptance of the dual world when he says, thanks to evil, good exists, and vice versa. If we take sides, we are trying to eliminate half of reality, which is impossible. When we perceive reality in this way, we do not discriminate against the garbage in favor of the rose. We will cherish both. And Thich Nhat Hanh is sharing an acceptance of the dual world, which never stopped his working for the good of all in life, but greatly reduces the suffering that we experience while we're working for the good. He walked in two worlds at one time, embracing the relative truth, the dual world of the dual world, while embodying the ultimate truth of the unified world. And with our mindfulness practice, this is what we are learning to do, is to inhabit both worlds as well. And so I will leave it there.